where are our politicians? Where are our leaders saying this is enough? We are, for the first time in this country's history, we are setting ourselves up for a condition where our generation, these Generation Z or whatever letter you want to put in front of their name, these kids growing up today are going to have a lower living standard than their parents.
In this thought-provoking conversation with financial expert Michael Pinto, we explore the possibility of a bond market crash and the emergence of a bull market in commodities, particularly gold and silver. Pinto also questions the absence of leadership in addressing the potential decline in living standards for future generations, shedding light on the clear reasons behind this concerning trend. Keep watching this video to find out more about Michael Pinto's discussion.
Well, I thought the recession would have started by now in all candor. My big mistake was, whereas I didn't short the market, so let's just get that out of the way. I did not short the market, hoping that we would have a recession starting in early 23. My model, I have a 20-point model, inflation, deflation, economic cycle model. The model said that a recession is coming, but it's not here yet. So that kept me from being short the market. Whereas, to be honest with you, I totally missed this, NVIDIA AI boom. So, we are definitely underperforming this year as we really outperformed the market last year. So net, we're still above the 22, 23 performance figures, but we did not participate in this bull market really at all. And the reason is, if I had a introspective look at what I've done, I underestimated the impact of what Jerome Powell did in March of 2023, of this year. It seems like a long time ago, but it really isn't. So what he did by this launch of the bank term funding program was he bailed out the entire US banking system. And he printed $400 billion in the time span of 2 weeks. And I think that's striking, Kai, because when you think about $400 billion, let's put that into some context. The entire Fed's balance sheet, so from 1913, from the enrollment of this putrid organization known as our Federal Reserve, from 1913 all the way to 2007, the end of 2007, the Federal Reserve balance sheet was $800 billion. And then in 2 weeks, in March, they printed $400 billion. Now, I know it's a loan. It's not really pure QE. I call it QE light. But when the Fed bailed out the entire banking system, I think that extended this problem, because a lot of people say that the reason why we haven't had a recession is because, well, don't you know the homeowners have locked in low rates, so they have no reason to refinance. Corporations have locked in very low interest rates, very low borrowing costs. So they don't have to refinance until that wall hits in 2025. All true. Kai, all true. But does anybody ever ask this question? Who owns all of the debt that from 11 of the last 15 years, money was free? And the issuance of collateralized loan obligations, leveraged loans, junk bonds, corporate bonds, investment grade bonds, U.S. treasuries, you name it. All that issuance went through the roof. Unprecedented. $6 trillion in stimulus just in 2 years post the outbreak of COVID-19. Somebody owns, some entity or entities owns all of this debt. And you can't tell me that, going from the Fed going from 0% to 5.25%, 5.5% over the course of 18 months didn't render a lot of these institutions bankrupt. Well, it happened. It happened in March. These are the kinds of things that don't happen in a free market when money is real, when it means something, right? When money used to be backed by gold, you just couldn't print money. Like, hey, Jerome, a bank went under. Silicon Valley Bank, a very small concentrated number of investors, depositors, way above FDIC insurance, investing in shitcoin. Oh, we can't have that happen. We can't have that go bad. Let's bail out the entire U.S. banking system by printing $400 billion. That's what he did. He said, forget about the discount window. The discount window was always open, right? But you actually had this other program which gave you 100 cents on the dollar, par for all of your assets. Don't care what they're valued at. I'll take them at par. That couldn't happen in a regime where a currency has backing by specie. Only in a fiat currency regime could that ever be possible. Welcome to the world of banking, where you actually have real money backing a much larger percentage in loans. Okay, you actually have deposits, actual money backing deposits, which has been, hypothecated many times over, not even 10-1. So, when you have people taking their deposits out of the banking system, their assets have to be sold in a panic. Okay, this is just the way the fractional reserve system works. I didn't invent this system. So you have base money supply, which is not fettered by gold, and you have that horrid supposition in conjunction with a fractional reserve system without boundaries. Where are our politicians? Where are our leaders saying this is enough? We are, for the first time in this country's history, we are setting ourselves up for a condition where our generation, these Generation Z or whatever letter you want to put in front of their name, these kids growing up today are going to have a lower living standard than their parents.
That hasn't happened.
And the reasons why are very clear. I just mentioned all of them to you. Well, listen, I always espouse, Kai, that you should have 5% of your assets in physical gold. And I mean physical gold that you can get access to without anybody else letting you. So no third parties involved. So let's start there. I also feel that you should toggle the rest of your investment allocation in liquid paper. I call it liquid paper gold. So I want its ownership to be liquid. In other words, I don't store gold in vaults around the world. That I don't want to call a vault and say, hey, the global economy is melting down. Can I have that gold you have? No, I don't want that. But I call it paper gold because it's really, it's gold. It's supposedly backed by gold, but who really knows? Who really knows if they're going to honor that agreement when push comes to shove? I don't think they will. So I want exposure to the metal, its price appreciation, between 0 and 20%, depending on the direction of real interest rates. Now, take together everything I just said in this interview. What do you think is going to happen to real interest rates? Okay, so nominal rates minus inflation. If the Fed were to try to cap interest rates by going into QE as the economy enters into its next recession/depression. And who's going to ever believe that the Fed will allow interest rates to function freely? Like, in Japan, let's just take, I have to mention Japan again. 10-year JGBs yield 0.65%. The Japanese economy is an insolvent island retirement home. Okay. They have 1.545 quadrillion yen in debt. And their inflation rate, official inflation rate, is over 3%. And the real inflation rate, if you look at the cost of food, is over 8%. Now, Kai, if I told you your inflation rate in reality was 8%, would you lock up money at 0.6% for 10 years? No. I hope you say no, right? So, and everybody else would say no, except for the Bank of Japan. So what I'm saying is the Bank of Japan has decided that they could never allow freedom to price their bond market.
As we conclude this insightful conversation with Michael Pinto, we are left with a heightened awareness of the challenges our financial landscape may face in the near future. The prospect of a bond market crash and the potential for a robust commodities bull market linger in our thoughts. Pinto's call for leadership and a reevaluation of our economic trajectory serve as a stark reminder of the responsibility we bear for the generations to come. Thank you for joining us in this crucial discussion. We appreciate your likes and support, so please subscribe and hit the bell.